What's going on YouTube? Sacred Sage here, back with another video. I am going to attempt to get a Geoshell transferred over into Unreal Engine. Full disclosure, this is a pain in the ass. Alright, it's not simple as taking a Geoshell and throwing it in Unreal. Ultimately, what we are doing is taking a Geoshell, applying it onto the map of the model in Photoshop, and then bringing it back into Daz to export to Unreal. And it is a pain. Now, since the majority of this deals with the whole, genitalia and that kind of stuff, I had to block out, or I'm attempting to make it as PG as possible. So it's going to be a lot more talking and not as much showing. All right, let's get started. So here's the deal. Geoshells is kind of like a cover over your model, right? So what a lot of asset designers do is they do it for coloring or for textures that gets applied over the model to give it a better effect. So that being said, first thing I tried to do was make maps of the Geoshell. Wrong. It didn't even work. There's no UV for these shells, right? So we got to apply these shells to the actual Golden Palace, then export the maps. And I'll show all of that in just a second. So the problem with the whole area of dealing with this ultimately is a trial and error. But I think I got at least Golden Palace down. I have not tried any of the other types or whatnot, but basically the gist of it is for each one of these shells, you're going to have to basically do one at a time. I tried to do both at the same time. It didn't work because you have to mess with the coloring in Photoshop because the coloring is going to be off. We'll get that in a second. So Golden Palace starts out, if you go into editor, let's go into surface and you click on the Golden Palace. This is a shell, okay? The shell is Iray Uber, right? But if you click on Golden Palace, and this goes model by model, so you got to check which each model that you do, and you click on one of these, it says Pbr Skin. Now normally in most situations you want the thing to match the skin of the model, not this time. And the reason why is there's no cutout opacity, which is what's needed. I couldn't get a cutout opacity. And another thing, there's probably a better way or a more, consistent way than what I'm showing you, but this works for me. This works for all of my models. Each one's tweaked a little bit different based off of coloring, but that's it. All right, so make sure that this says this is going to say Pbr Skin, and the Geoshell is for me. Let me try that again. For me, my Golden Palace is Pbr Skin. That one can change. This one's always going to be the same. This is going to be this one's going to be a Uber, right? So we need to change the gens over to Uber, right? So this is what we do. Now I tried it doing PBR. I tried it with nothing. Uber's the only one that worked. So we go into, we got to make sure that we have our thing selected. So let's go ahead and we are going to select the gens, go to preset, and we're going to type in Uber. This one right here, Iray Uber base. Go ahead and click that to apply the shader. Now it's going to look different, and I wish I could show you this, but I can't. So when you apply this, it's gonna look different. Don't mind it, okay? If you go step by step, it'll work in the end. All right, so here's the shell, right? So let's go to the shell. We're gonna go to one at a time. Here's the Libya. So we're gonna copy. Now we're gonna go over here to the gens, and we are going to paste. Now back over to the shell. copy, gens, paste. And we are going to do this for all 5 of these. Yeah, this was a nightmare. When I thought I solved the puzzle, it kept on throwing me for another loop. And no matter what you do, the coloring is going to be off. You're going to have to tweak it to what you want it to be. Because we're initially changing things from PBR to Uber back to PBR. So the coloring is going to be a little off. But I found a way to balance that. And then we're going to paste this last one here. All right, so this one is now ready. Okay, so and this is just for the first shell. This is just for the first shell. What you can do is get them all set up and ready so that you can just do all your stuff in Photoshop, right? It's not too bad. So we're going to select gens, select the Golden Palace, right click on surfaces, map transfer. We're going to, in this template area, right click, new template, select the template, bake quality, max it. Right here is where you want to save your textures. No problem. I already saved mine, so I'm not going to do it again, but I'm going to show you the process of doing it all, right? So you can change this to whatever you want just by clicking these and going. Me, personally, I threw it on my desktop because it's the quickest and easiest thing for me to find. All right, so now we are going to select all of these. Oh, you know what? And throw it into the template. Another thing, I forgot to mention this. Change this to PNG. You need the transparency. If you do JPEG, all the transparency areas are going to be black and it's not going to work. This needs to be PNG. All right, now that we got that selected, what you do is you just hit accept and it'll take it a couple seconds and it starts making the maps, right? Bam. Done with the first shell. Then what you do is the same exact thing I just did for a second time. The only difference is you're not going to have to apply the Uber because we already applied it, right? So now you just do the copy, paste, all 5 areas of this shell, right click, map transfer, and do it again for the gens, right? So with these 5 areas, paste it onto Golden Palace, the map transfer, and do it again. And then you'll have both the sets that you need. Then we are almost done in Daz Studio. But that was the easy part. Now it's the hard part. Photoshop. If you have background in Photoshop, you'll probably find this a lot easier. Me, yeah. I thought I started feeling comfortable with Photoshop. Yeah, not anymore. So, as you can tell, this is not what it's going to look like. You need to get your map, your base map of the model that you're working. Now, an easy way that you can get that is if you double click here, go to, let's say, here's your model, body. You can click right here and you can go to browse, and then at the browser at the top, it'll have basically like the location of it. You can copy and paste that. I'm not opening it up because, well, the maps can get me in trouble. Let's just put it that way. All right, so here we are. We got our map here. The first thing you want to do is you want to throw over one of, I got to bring up my, where you at? Sorry, I'm bringing my stuff up on my other screen. All right, so I got both of mine in 2 separate things. I like to do the menorah, this geoshell first because it is larger, and this one applies better second, and this one applies better first. It's just, it's like a layer, right? And since we can't do them both at the same time, the Majora just works better. So you go and open up that folder, and you will see some templates. You will have a cutout opacity. You will have a diffuse. You will have overlay. You will have overlay weight, layered weight, and normal map. We're only going to use 2. All right, so if you go into Photoshop, the quick way I found in doing this is to take your diffuse map and throw it up there so that it brings it up by itself, right? Then go over there, hit with the thing selected, like it'll be like layer, right? So with the layer selected, hit Control A, Control C. So it'll literally, Control A means everything, and Control C is copy. Then you come back to this page where you have your character map. Go to Edit, Paste Special, and I can't show you this because I don't have anything copied paste, but under Paste Special, it will have Paste in Place. Click that, and it will put it perfectly on that model. Now, when you do this, you'll have the it'll look weird because it's 2 separate colors. It's okay. I got it, right? I got you. So now this one I can show you. This is the cutout opacity, right? So we're gonna throw this over here, right? Poof, just like this. Now, in this one, we want to hit channels, right? Then Control A, and you see the border. Control C, like this, right? Then we go back to that layer you just put out, that diffuse one. Click it, right? And for instance, let's say this is the diffuse layer. You want to click on this mask, right? So when you click on the mask, it'll bring this up. Now you want this mask selected, this little box selected. When you do this, hit channels, hit this bottom mask. Oh, you know what? I done told you wrong. Let's take a couple steps back. For some reason, this thing is always a different size. We're going to do that, but I forgot to do this, right? So this map, for some reason, is a 1000 by 1000. So let's go into Edit. Oops, sorry, Image. Image size. We're changing this to 4K, 4096. Hit OK. You'll see it getting bigger. No problem. Now, with the channel selected like this, Control A, Control C, right? All right, now we're back on track. Sorry about that. So, with the channel selected, you're going to do, click on this. Then we are going to Edit, Paste Special, Paste in Place. Boom. You see that? And it'll put it perfectly in place. So, that is all you have to do. Hold on, making sure I get all this stuff out. Okay, now, if you're looking at it and you look at it closely, you will see a slight little line going around it, right? There is a way around that too. So if you have the, let me go ahead and do this anyways. Let's go ahead and add the mask, channel, like that. Oops, I hit the wrong one. Edit, paste in place. Okay, so let's go ahead and I am going to say, okay, I'm good with this. Go back to layers and bam, oops. Deselect. All right, so here's the thing about a mask. White paints, black takes off, right? So there is a small line right around this whole circumference, right? Here, here, and here. You're going to have this selected, this black, right? This mask selected. You're going to hit the B button to bring up the brush. And then you're literally just going to go whoop all the way around that thing, right? I really wish I could show you. It'll make that line disappear. No problem. Cool. Once you got those lines disappeared, and it'll be in this area, and this area, you're good to go. That part is done. So what I do is I save file, save a copy, and you see how many different ones I have, right? I got 4 of them here. So I have, after the first Geoshell's done, bam, which would be this one, right? Save it, close out. Then I'm going to do file, save another copy. This one's going to be JPEG. And I will just be like, let's say, after Geo 1 or something like that, right? Because it's just a temporary one. Click save. And then what you'll do is you'll close out of everything. And you'll bring up the one you just saved, right? Then comes the second part, which is the second shell. Now, if you're using, this is, I don't know for certain, but I'm like 95% sure. If you're using, let's say, new gens from 3 Feet Wolf, you'll probably only have to do this one time because he only has 1 shell. Golden Palace has 2 shells if you get all the textures and everything, right? So that's why Golden Palace has to do it a second time. So with that new one open, you will literally do the same exact thing we just did with the first one. So it'll, where you at? Bringing up my maps again. So instead of like this cutout opacity, which is for the Majora one, this is the one for the other one. As you can tell, it has a lot more black, and the only coloring is literally right here, and right here. Basically, if I got rid of this mask, these areas right here is what's being filled in, right? So do the same exact thing we just did with the other one, making this 4K because it starts out as this one started out as 2K. Interesting. Sometimes they start out as 2K, sometimes they start out as 1K. So there you go, bam, and there's that one. So get the diffuse applied on here, then you get that one applied on it here, and then the fun part. Trial and error, because the coloring is going to be off. There will also be the lines on this one too. You'll have to erase off with the mask. So once that's done, what you'll have to do, and I found Vibrance. I found a pretty good, this is what worked for this model. It worked pretty good. Now in Daz it's going to look a little funny in texture mode, but once you go to iRay, it looks really good. So what you do is click here and apply Vibrance, right? So you click Vibrance, and up here you'll see Vibrance and Saturation. And these are going to sound extreme, but they worked. I put Vibrance up to 70, and you'll see the color of the whole thing going crazy. Saturation up to 70. Yeah, it looks ridiculous, but it also makes this color match, right? So what I did is I took that Vibrance just like that, and I hit shift and I clicked on the diffuse layer, right click, merged layers. And what that initially does is it'll make this layer of Vibrance apply to that diffuse, this area right here, here, and here, but it won't be affected anywhere else, right? And this is the outcome of it, how dark red this is, because it normally is a lot less. So that's how I got that dark red. Now, go ahead and File, save, and make a new one, right? So file, save a copy. And you can do, I did one before the Vibrant because you can't go back, and that might be a better choice to do. And then I did the same exact thing again. File, whoop, save a copy, JPEG, right? So after that's saved, you saved your JPEG. We're going back over into Daz Studio. You click your model, right? Then you go to body, base color, and put that map that you just made right there. Then we go to Golden Palace, click here, base color, that same map again for all these areas, right? Then you can literally go delete. Well, I wouldn't delete them right now. Make sure your coloring with your Vibrant is good. After that, you can delete these. I already know my Vibrant colors are good, so I'm not worried about it, right? So, all done. Yay. Let's get it over into Unreal. All right, so file, send to Daz2 Unreal. If you don't know, I got a video on how to get character models already over into Unreal. You can check that out. So I'm just going to go right through this stuff real quick. I already got the morph selected. Already got this. I hit accept. It brings up another menu. I will go ahead and show you what that menu is. This is my settings. I got select, figures, props, morphs, bam, bam, bam. And you hit accept and it'll start sending it over to Unreal. All right. Now that we're in Unreal, yep, import field. I know because I canceled it. So there's that. Now, let's go ahead and if you click on, where's the model at? Should already have the model up and good to go and everything. So, oh man, I got to move this over real quick because I don't want to get hit by YouTube. Let me go ahead and, whoop. If I would have known that was going to be in a separate one, I would have not even bothered. Almost done. All right, that'll work. Bam. All right, so if you double click on the character or whatnot, it brings up this right here. Now, you're going to notice that the area is gray. No problem. It's not an issue. So, since we changed the body of the character, all those maps and geoshells onto the main character, you're literally going to take this, copy, right? Now we're going to scroll down here, and then here's one area. Anywhere that says GP, see how it says Golden Palace right here? Paste, 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 paste. Same exact map on all of those areas. Now we go down here. Same exact thing. Paste, 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 and paste. You're going to notice it actually looks normal now. This is definitely not an easy thing to do. And it is, like I said, a little bit of trial and error, base by base things. But once you get the fundamental understanding, you'll get it. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I know it's probably pretty confusing because of me not actually physically being able to show you, because it is, you know, taboo for YouTube and all these other platforms and everything. I will answer the questions as best as I can, but it is definitely not something, this is definitely not something for a beginner to do. It took me days to figure out, and I have a few buddies that knows how to make textures and that kind of stuff to get everything working right too. So it was rough. So just let me know if you have any questions. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think on maybe a future video. I'm thinking about doing another camera one. Then I'm thinking about doing a camera for Daz because I learned a lot of stuff on that, and I'm thinking about doing a new video for lighting in Unreal. I learned a few things, lighting stuff in Unreal. Think about posting that as well. Just let me know. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, take care.